He also had Parkinson's, and he was having dementia, where one person, according to Schneider, a person who knew Robin Williams, said that he kept saying, "I want to reboot my brain." And that's why. And he also had severe depression. I mean, if you think about it, I'm a person who has depression. I don't have severe depression. I have depression. Hold on, I got a text message. When he had the early stages of Parkinson's, and autopsy also revealed that Williams had diffuse Lewy body dementia, which has been diagnosed as Parkinson's, and which may have contributed to his depression. And the thing about it is, I would not want Keith Raniere to discuss depression. He'd be like the last person I'd ever want to hear talk about depression, suicide, and any of that. Because the man is not a medical doctor. The man isn't a psychiatrist. He was a guy who basically tricked all these women into believing and following him and have sex with him. He is a scumbag. And here's the thing about Raniere, is he was involved in the death of a woman named Gina Hutchinson and the disappearance of Kristen Snyder. This guy is a scumbag. This guy is really a sick, twisted person. And it really bugs me. Like, I wish there would be a documentary where you can interview all these people and really try to come up to a conclusion of what this guy did. So we will talk about Gina Hutchinson and Kristen Snyder. Gina Hutchinson has been sexually involved with an adult Raniere when Gina was 15 years old. In August 2002, Gina resumed contact with Raniere and began practicing Nexium ESP, according to her surviving sister Heidi. On October 11th, 2002, Gina Hutchinson was found dead of a gunshot wound to the head, and her death was ruled a suicide. I wish there was more information on it, but Wikipedia doesn't have that, so let's go to Kristen Marie Snyder. Was a 35-year-old environmental consultant who in November 2002 paid $7,000 to enroll in a 16-day personal development course conducted by Nexium leader Nancy Saltzman. Yep, it's Saltzman. I thought it was Saltzman, And yep, it's Saltzman. So, first off, $7,000 to enroll in a 16-day personal development course in Anchorage, Alaska. I don't think I'd ever want to go to Alaska. It's kind of funny though. My grandpa once said, it was pretty funny though. It was like a couple years ago. He said, "If I ever get tired of the way this country's going, I'm just going to move to Alaska, live in a cabin, and say to hell with everybody." That is like the funniest thing. Because I seen Alaska. I seen like photos of it. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful area. But I wouldn't want to live there. Because you don't really get much light. You don't get a lot of sunlight. You really don't. It's a very dark area sometimes. And actually, when I think about it, it doesn't really sound that bad. But anyway. Following January, Snyder traveled to visit Raniere and other leaders in New York. Time out. Why the hell would you go from flying all the way to Anchorage, Alaska, pay $7,000, do 16-day personal development course conducted in Anchorage, Alaska, then all of a sudden turn around, fly all the way to New York after blowing $7,000? Just a question. Just a question of like, why would you do that? Anyway, to visit Raniere and other leaders in New York, Snyder's mother recalled that her daughter had come to believe she was responsible for the Columbia shuttle disaster, and thought Keith was incredible. Snyder accompanied her partner, Heidi Clifford, to sign up for a second 16-day course session in Anchorage. Clifford later reported that the 10th day of the course, Snyder began making suicidal threats, and Clifford, I was told by NXIVM instructor not to bring her to the hospital. That's what makes me feel really bad, she said. You should have listened to your gut. Just take her to the hospital. Why do you listen to these people? These people aren't doctors, they aren't psychiatrists, they aren't anything. They're a cult. Full of crazy nutbags. Nut jobs, but, you know. Crazy bags of nut jobs. Basically is what I'm going to say. These people are fucking crazy. I'm just going to throw it out there. I have to remove my watch. Anyway, these people are nut jobs. They're crazy. This Keith Raniere, I wish they would do an interview with this guy. If you ever watched, it's on NBC, it's some crime show where, hold on, let me look it up. I have to give the name to it because if I don't, it's going to bug the shit out of me. Dateline on NBC. on, I'm looking it up. Keith Morrison. That's who I'm thinking of. If you ever watch NBC Dateline, Keith Morrison is like my favorite reporter. He will interview some of the craziest people and just ask the questions that everybody would be asking of, what were you thinking? He's one of the greatest Canadians ever. And the odd thing about it is, like, he is the stepfather of Matthew Perry. The actor, Matthew Perry. If you didn't know. If there's ever somebody that has to cover the NXIVM thing, and somebody has to ever interview Keith Raniere, Keith Morrison should be the man to do it. He will ask the most blunt and honest questions to anybody and get to the truth, which is great. So, if Dateline NBC ever does anything that's really good, instead of broadcasting nothing but crap on NBC, Keith Morrison should interview Keith Raniere. Just my opinion of it. February 6th, Snyder was last seen leaving a NXIVM seminar. 2 days later, police recovered a note that reads as follows: I have attended a course called Executive Success Program, ESP, based out of Anchorage, Alaska and Albany, New York. I was brainwashed, and my emotional center of my brain was killed and turned off. Killed/turned off. I still have feelings in my skin, but my internal organs are rotted. I am sorry, life. I didn't know I was already dead. May we present into my future. A separate page added, no need to search for my body. Witness on the Raniere 2019 trial testified after Christina Snyder's disappearance. Raniere paid $24,000 to obtain her password to her emails. Shit. He had something to do with it. I know it's crazy to accuse somebody of it, but this guy, he had some involvement. He had to have some involvement in this disappearance. I'm going to skip ahead past the Forbes article to the Dalai Lama. Hello, Dolly. So, the Dalai Lama. This is an interesting thing right here. I have to talk about this one. There's been a conspiracy. For those who don't know, I love conspiracy theories. I believe in every conspiracy, the Illuminati to everything, like Skull and Bones, to Hollywood really being a cesspool. I believe in all these crazy conspiracy theories. But there is one that is really interesting. Is the woman who